Alrighty, guys, we are live. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're doing a special holiday coaching call and Q&A today. So Rick Ginn will join us in about an hour, and it's going to be pretty cool. So we're here just to do a live, answer all of the questions you have for your real estate wholesaling business. And truly, my goal in today is to make you a better real estate investor than when you started. And that's basically it. So you can ask any of your questions. You can actually hop on the call here. I'd love to talk to you and see what I can do to help you out in your real estate wholesaling business. So pretty excited about this one. So if you guys can comment below where you guys are coming out, where you guys from, what market you're in for real estate wholesaling, and most importantly, what you're trying to get out of this chat. So let's do a quick check here, just making sure we're all live and we're good on Facebook. So it looks like everyone can see us here. Yes, so it looks like we're all good. If you guys don't want to, let me know. But remember, you're watching this. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Helps the YouTube algorithm so we can help you in your real estate wholesaling business. If you've never met me before and you literally just hopped on here, my name is Zach Ginn. I am a 21-year-old real estate wholesaler out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. Me and Rick, we have a 7-figure wholesaling business in Port St. Lucie, and we are the top wholesalers on the Treasure Coast. So that is the goal today, just try to help you guys out in your real estate wholesaling business. So without further ado, let's get in some questions. Let's try to answer it and try to bring as much value possible today. So I'm really excited about this one, guys. So we did a little live yesterday about virtual wholesaling, but really want to answer more questions. I got so many questions last time and really excited. And this will be as long as I can do it. So Evan Johnson says, just started business literally today. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. All right. So you just started your wholesaling business. Let me know what market you're in, everything like that. I'm pretty curious about it. Let me know. All righty. Urban says, what's up, guys? Thanks for this. No, thank you so much for this. Your support here at Flip with Rick and your support watching our stuff literally means everything to us. So I really appreciate the support you're giving here. Just making sure we're good. All righty. So we're all good there. We got Mary B. Snaggin. What's up, Zach? Do you think wholesaling is saturated with people who don't run it like a business? That is literally an amazing question. So let's deep dive into that. So Mary B. Snaggin's always on our lives, always giving us great questions. So I really appreciate it. So yes, wholesaling is saturated everywhere. I started wholesaling basically 2017, more or less. And really, when I was 17 years old, I thought it was saturated back then. Not knowing right now that wholesaling is way more saturated now than it was back then. I think a lot of people aren't running it like a business, but I don't think a lot of people are running it like a business like a year or two ago. So, I mean, here's the problem with this is the TikTok kids. That's what I'm calling it. That's the kind of the phrase that I'm coining of how bad real estate wholesaling has been lately with saturation is because of these TikTok kids. And what I mean by that is there's so many great like wholesaling YouTube guys out there. They give so much free content and I love them all. But some go on TikTok and they start posting like crazy big checks and say, hey, you 17-year-old kid, look at my Lamborghini, look at my checks. You can do it by wholesaling real estate. And these people, all the wholesaling education that they know, or literally all the wholesaling like things they learn is only through TikTok with 30 to 60-second videos. Like that's how you're going to learn. Like, are you kidding me? Like they'll learn from TikTok, and then the guys that go on YouTube and start learning more, they do really well. But the guys that just stick to TikTok and they use TikTok as their education, they're the people that will really put everyone under contract. They don't know how to run ARV or comps. They don't go on live streams like this and try to actually learn and ask questions. They literally just do TikToks, and that's all they do on watching this. And they are just, they're really, oh my gosh, they're just saturating the market like crazy. And there's some TikTok refugees on this YouTube channel that have learned nothing from TikTok, found my YouTube channel, and they've changed the game, getting their first couple deals. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to help the refugees here from TikTok not learning anything, or really guys that are going these crazy expensive wholesaling like course programs and trying to help them out now. So in this live, I'm going to go for as long as I can. Rick will be on here. So excited to have Rick finally on a live. Hard to get him on these things, but got him in the building. So he should be here in like an hour, hopefully. But pretty exciting. Some water on me. All right. Let's see here. Roy Prince from Atlanta. What's up? Atlanta's actually a really good market. I actually had a podcast last week with Davis Mendez. He's out in Atlanta, like Athens region. He's pulling in 50K a month at 22 years old right now. Like Atlanta's popping right now. It's a pretty good hub. I mean, I think the whole movie industry is like shifting over there. So it's actually pretty cool. We have someone interested in owner financing and asked us to help them look for a home. Okay. So if someone's interested in owner financing, they want you to look for a home, I tell you to separate that. I think separating it is probably the best thing to do. You don't want to be the realtor trying to help them find a house because they can't find a house because of you. Then they're not going to want to do the deal. Refer them to a realtor that'll help them out, get the contract signed, and then do it from there. I separate that. It's just why the realtor get paid for it. You're not here to help them find housing. It's just separate them. Best thing to do. I wholesaled a commercial property for an $87,000 fee. Wow. Batman of Chicago. Dang. That's awesome. Hey, if you can, comment below some details on that. I would love to know about 87 grand on a commercial. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I bet everyone else wants to know too where like you're getting that from. That'd be pretty cool. Urban says, we don't have the funds to buy it outright, so we are looking at hard money for this. Urban, comment below some more details on this owner financing deal. Maybe get 0% down. I mean, I've done some of those 0% interest, but how much hard money if it's an owner financing? It shouldn't be that much. Urban says, can you explain how to set up owner finance deal on existing loan? Basically depends on the terms that you get on it. So for these, you want wholesale prices or wholesale terms. Ron LeGrand, I think he coined that one. But basically, what you want on a real estate deal is to get a really good price or really good financing terms on it. So on an owner financing deal, it really depends. So if you're doing a lease option or doing a long-term play, I like to do non-interest payments. That's the best one for me at hopefully a 0% interest rate. I've seen interest rates vary maybe 2 to 5%. Anything above that's a little much, in my opinion. Rick's probably got a little different opinion on that. But basically, hey, I give you a down payment and I give you monthly payments until you know that whatever price we agree on is done. Pretty easy to do, and just see the cash flow on it. See if you can make cash flow on that, and put a renter in there and make money. That's kind of how we do it. Pretty easy. Hater Proof says, "What's up, Zach? What's the best opening line on cold calls, please?" I got you, fam. So my favorite thing to do in a cold calling on an actual opener line is basically say, hey, is this actually, I don't know your name, so I can't really say it right. Hey, is this hater proof? Or I could always open on, because sometimes I like to switch it up if I get like bored. I'd be like, hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Yes, this is hater proof. Okay, hater proof. Would you have a property you're interested in selling, or are you interested in selling that property? Or, I mean, there's so many opening lines you can do. My favorite is always ask if they're the owner of the property. And if they say yes, say, hey, are you interested in a cash sale on it? Or are you interested in selling the property for cash? Like, it ain't that complicated. Then they say yes, we got the 4 questions. We want to qualify them. So what is their motivation? What is their time frame, their condition, and the price? Those are always the pretty main 4 questions I've been using since the 80s. And you go from there, set the appointment, get the deal, and then find a cash buyer, assign it, get your deal. Simple as that. I do the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. I've always, when I've complicated cold calling, I've gotten worse results. So I make it as simple and easy as possible. Hopefully that helped. What's up, Zach? Shout out from Stockton. Stockton's a decent market. It's actually going up there in price, but Stockton's pretty decent. I mean, better than Oakland. So yeah, what's up? From Seattle, Washington. Sweet, sweet, sweet. TikTok is annoying. They are doing it for clout. I would agree. That's what I'm saying. TikTok made real estate wholesaling more saturated, and people think it's easy. I'm telling you right now, wholesaling is not easy. Wholesaling is extremely hard. It's like anything. It's like having a 400-pound bench press or a 300-pound bench press, or like putting three plates on a bench press. You could see a lot of guys doing it, so it seems easy. There's a lot of nights in the gym you got to put in to get there. And there's a lot of nights you got to put into real estate wholesaling to get really good at it. I mean, there's so many things you got to get good at. Like any sport, I love sports analogies. So like being a good basketball player, it's just not being good at shooting threes. Like you got really good 3-point shooters, but they're not like LeBron. I mean, you got to have most of the time height, strength, speed. You got to have amazing dribbling. You got to be amazing at defense. You got to be amazing. Like you got to dunk, free throw. Like there's so many things in wholesaling that you got to be good at. You got to be amazing at marketing. You got to be amazing in acquisitions, talking to people. You got to be amazing at selling your deals. You got to be amazing at finding title companies. You got to be amazing at like just handling fires and crazy situations in your wholesaling business. You got to be a good business owner. You got to be a good person. I mean, there's just so much going on. You got to constantly work on your craft and just getting education on it. Like there's a lot going. It's a lot of hard work. And the cool part about wholesaling is it doesn't require any money to actually get into it. And like being in the NBA, it doesn't require a lot of money or any money at all to be a basketball player. I mean, if someone's got a basketball and a free hoop from like a park, I mean, it doesn't cost anything, but it's going to take a lot of time. And the chance of you becoming a 7-figure wholesaler or 6-figure wholesaler is a kabillion, like billions times way easier than getting into the NBA or making 6 figures in the NBA or 7 figures, like being a professional basketball player. Like this stuff's way easier than that. But wholesaling is hard. If you can crack the code, it's there, and it's all mindset. Kang is making it saturated. I love Kang. He does a lot of great stuff, but he does have a lot of good. He does a huge following on TikTok, and he does bring a lot of people into wholesaling. And I know a lot of those people come to our channel, so he's just not the only one. But he does help. He actually does give a lot of good free info. So no ill will towards him. I'm looking to get call tools soon, or would you recommend Mojo? So I prefer Call Tools over those two options. Just Call Tools has 10 lines. Mojo is 3. But Mojo does have like a CRM more or less in it. So you really got to see. I think you do free Podio with Call Tools. I like ZenCall. I'm not affiliated with ZenCall or anything like that. I only use them because it's 12 lines, because I got a lot of data. Call Tools, you should be fine. They got the recording and everything. Should be good. Is there a replay of that podcast with Davis? Yes, Ro. If you can, just click on the channel here and go back to videos. And from a week ago, it should be with Davis. It should say like $50,000 a month or something like that. At FlipWithRick on Instagram. If you want, just DM me. I'll send you that too. How to calculate or come up with a killer number for your spread when negotiating with a seller. I like to do my method, which is basically finding out what the ARV is minus the repairs, and then I multiply that by the percentage off the market value that my cash buyers are going to buy it for. So more or less, they'll pay 90 to 85% of that. That's the discount that they want. And then from there, I'll find my spread. I always like to give an offer where I at least make 60 to 70 and then work my way up. Broward County there's deals there. The northern part of Broward County is a little better, but it's saturated all over Broward. There's no secret market in Broward County. I mean, everyone's in there. So I would say it's a little tougher, but Palm Beach is a little better option. But I would say Broward's decent. You could still do deals there. Angelica from San Antonio, Texas. What is up? San Antonio is a killer market. That's a great one. It was an old oil company building in Indiana. Wow. Interesting. That's insane. That's really cool. 87 grand. Jeez. He doesn't have good credit. He has a $10,000 down. I would do private money at 10K. Don't do private money. I mean, don't do hard money. Do private money. Get it from individuals. The hard money would be a little tough. Do you think it's best to have a business name and a website to virtually wholesale? Yes, I prefer it. Facebook's free to have an online presence. You don't need a website, but at least have a Facebook and whatever name you're using. So if you're like Paul Smith from, Orisburg, Indiana, make sure that you have a Paul Smith Facebook where if someone searches you, if you got crazy like political stuff, cut it out. Keep your Facebook pretty good, I guess, if someone wants to look you up, and make it look clean, and you should do fine. People are going to look you up, though, if you're doing it, so make sure it's good. Make sure your social medias are good. People will look you up, I promise you. Brian says, hi, Zach. I have a deal under contract in Tampa. Do you buy to flip in Tampa area? If the deal's right, yes. If it's not, no. If the deal is a really good discount, then yes. But most wholesalers send me deals that none of meat in the bone for me, and that's just because how I am. I'm used to doing $40,000 deals. So, do you think wholesaling will be shut down by the government? No. I mean, wholesaling is basically the art of selling your like equitable interest in a property. So they could ban it. It's extremely hard to do. I mean, mortgages do this all the time. I mean, people assign their equitable interest on a lot of things. So what might get banned in the future is like actually marketing to a property you don't have listed. Kind of like what they're trying to do in Oklahoma. You can do double closings. So I'll just talk to you guys how to do double closings even more if that happens. Really, honestly, or you will do just do double closings. Like that is the key where you actually close on the property. Your margins will probably go down by 85%. But most people won't be able to do that like the newbies. So yeah, you'll do fine. Trust me. There'll always be a way to wholesale, or worst case scenario, we do private and hard money, and then we can just do that. Like this YouTube channel will be fine. The scariest part about this is because I'm at the highest level for we're the top dogs basically in wholesaling in St. Lucie County. If that happens, a lot of the TikTok kids are leaving, and I will make more money. I will make so much more money if they ban wholesaling in Florida. Just because I'll just wholesale everything and there'll be less competition. I'll just be cleaning up. So for me, it'd be a lot more money for me. For you guys, maybe less, but don't fear. Like a lot of guys on YouTube will post videos like that because fear will drive everything. That's why your typical like political shows always drive fear. So if you go watch CNN, they'll drive fear. If you watch Fox News, they'll drive fear in. Like every political TV show will drive fear to get you to watch and do views. A lot of YouTubers do the same thing. Oh my gosh, wholesaling is going to be banned. The world's going to end. Guys, don't worry about it. Trust me. Like if there's a will, there's a way. There's so many. Come on. In Illinois, it's basically banned, and there's a lot of guys doing really well there. And I will help you every step of the way. Don't even worry. Deal. All right. Deal under contract, but tenant does not move out. Tomorrow selling. Okay. Deal under contract, but tenant does not move out. Tomorrow seller goes to court. What could I do to help? Just wait for the seller to evict tenant. Yes, just wait for the seller to evict it. You might have to extend the contract, but that really should be it. So you should be fine. Willing to pay $1,500 a month for the area he is looking in right now. We're looking at a potential $400 to $500 monthly profit. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, 10K. That if you'd make 6K or $4,800 on a 10K investment, that's 48% return. That's amazing, especially for real estate. Plus, you get oh yeah, like you get equity buildup. Like that's a killer deal. So yes, if that's net numbers, 400 to 500, that is an amazing deal. That's actually pretty good. That's good. What's the best suggestion when you submit a deal to a cash buyer that it gets it? Okay, so my best suggestion to get a cash buyer to accept your contract is obviously lower the price. That's what I would say is we leave the least amount of meat on the table for wholesaling because we obviously want all the profits, right? So that's what we do in our wholesaling business. But obviously that would be it. Market to more wholesale, more cash buyers, and that would probably be really good too. Those are my suggestions. You could text all your cash buyers, do a big text blast, but those are the best ones. Just get higher quality cash buyers. I love scraping everything from listrei.com. Where is it? Listrei.com. That's where I basically scrape everything, all the cash sales in my area, and then I'll go market to them. And that's how we build our cash buyers, get the highest quality. I'm in 2 markets. Do you think I'm spreading myself too thin? It depends how much money you're making in those 2 markets. So if you have everything delegated out and you're not even like going on appointments and like everything's running, add more markets. If you're working like 60 hours a week and you're like doing really well, and you probably need to hire an acquisitions person, focus on those 2 markets. Let me know what markets you're in. Like if they're like tiny, like 20,000 like people markets, probably not. But if you're in like Houston and in Dallas also, it might be a little much. So let me know what markets you're in. Dude, Houston is absolutely amazing wholesaling market. Like as an amazing market. Also, guys, we got the green St. Patty's theme today. So I don't have a green shirt on, but whatever. So Ginn's actually Irish. So my last name's Irish. So good enough, right? So Houston's absolutely amazing market. There's so many young kids out there doing really well. I think it's a great one. Zach, what number should I use for my text blast? Buy a temporary number, or so if you're using smszach.com, which is basically smszach.com, usually you got a buyer number. Make sure it's a local area code of wherever you're text blasting, and you should do fine on there. Nicholas Best says, how do you effectively execute a sub 2 deal? So that is a question I'll say for Rick, because he does a lot more of that than me. But to execute a subject to deal, you got to have a title company. You have to have the right title company. It's very important you have the right title company. And from there, you just basically take over the mortgage, subject to. And then you basically give the person their money, the seller maybe $5K, and start taking over the payments. I like to use the title company to make sure we're protected, underwrite the deal. But then after that, we get a renter in there. Then we make a spread. Simple as that. But I'll have Rick, I'll circle back. If you could circle back at after 5, ask this question again, and Rick will give you like a step-by-step. But we do it pretty, like the way we do it in Florida, it's like very simple. So he'll explain a lot better. I'd just rather use his 18 years than my 4 for it. But usually for subject twos, we give like at most 5, 6K. After we give the $6,000, we'll just take over the payments. We usually use a title company. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Absolutely amazing market. I'm telling you, you could absolutely kill it in Atlanta for wholesaling real estate. My county in Florida is only around 150. Is that large enough? Do we need to expand? My cold caller does 2,000 calls a day. What county is that? I'm just curious. 150 should do fine. Maybe you want to expand out. Let me know what county, and then I can kind of help you out from there. Really depends. How often do you pull niche lists? I like to pull them every month. That's my favorite. Probates are weekly because that is my absolute favorite one. And those are basically my favorite niche lists. I use listREI.com for them, but that's kind of what I do more or less. What about Indianapolis, Indiana, and Raleigh, Durham? Indianapolis is really good, and Raleigh, Durham are really good. I know a lot more about Indianapolis. I know a lot of really good guys out there doing really well with them. Raleigh, Durham, I know a lot less. Charlotte's really good. Greensboro, North Carolina, but Durham, Raleigh, you could still do really well. They're a little more pricier. What's your criteria when selecting a market to go into? So I answered this yesterday. Basically, I just want to make sure other wholesalers are doing really well in that market. And more or less, I like populations that are mid-tier. So 2 to 400,000 populations, really what I like. You can do places with high populations and low rents like Detroit, or low populations with high rents like Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's kind of what selecting a market more or less. But I want to make sure there's plenty of cash buyers in there. Use a list source hack. But that's kind of what I like to do. I have a house under contract. Alrighty. ARV is 150,000 and got it for 70K. Okay. Do you think it's too high? I got it for 70, needs 20K in work. You're probably wrong at 20K. Maybe it's more, assuming, because that's still pretty good. So let's go. I got my phone calculator today, guys. So 150. So using my formula, so $150,000 minus 20,000. According to your numbers, it's worth 130. If a cash buyer is paying 85%, theoretically they'll pay 110.5 for it. So let's say 110 minus 70K. I mean, if your numbers are right, you should make 40. Most people's ARVs are way too high and the repairs are way too low. So if you end up making 15 or 20 and you're pushing it, that means your ARV was probably off and your repairs were off too. But if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't be able to make 40 on that. Is Seattle a good market for a newbie, or should I look elsewhere? Kings County is a little tough. I mean, I would say you do that and then try some other virtual stuff too. That's my personal opinion on it. I think you could still do pretty well with it though. What do you think about Stockton? I think Stockton's cool. Home of Nate Diaz. But I'm not going to use this catchphrase, Alex. I think you know it. But yeah, I think Stockton's a really good market. It's a little pricier, but people are like fleeing it from San Fran and Oakland. going to Stockton. So I think it's a pretty good market. If you don't have much time, how many hours do you recommend to be successful? As much as you humanly can. That's basically it. Like, obviously, you got to do a job. If you have kids, spend time with them, your wife, girlfriend, whatever. But as much time as you can. Like, get 6 hours of sleep and work. That's all I can say. Like, I mean, the more hours you put into it, statistically, the higher probability you will do well in wholesaling. And just increase those odds more and more every day. That's all I could say. All right, we got Ryan. What's up, Ryan? Ryan's in the Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group, always showing love. So Zach, I'm picking a new market and looking into San Marcos, Texas, but only has a population of 70K. There's a new city next to it, New Braunfels. It's a different county, but county's 200,000 population. Ryan, let me go look this up for you. So San Marcos, Texas. Ryan, let's see here. Okay, it's in Hayes County. So decent. Oh, Texas State. Okay. Oh, that's by Kyle, Texas, outside of Austin, in between Austin and San Antonio. Yeah, that should do pretty well. San Antonio is a really good market. So that should do. I've heard of San Marcos before, not New Braunfels, but I think that should do fine. See if other guys are doing deals there, though. Oh, wait, how many texts on average do I need to send to a niche list to get a wholesale deal? It depends. If you're doing probates, you only need like 1,000 to 2,000. Code violations, maybe 3. But it depends what kind of niche list you're doing. If you're doing like a vacant one, it'll be a lot higher. I really like this market and it looks good except for the population. Should I target both of them or just one? Is there anything in the way in wholesaling in 2 counties right next to each other? No, not really. No. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think you really need to care only about one factor in wholesaling real estate when picking a market also. Kind of talked about this a little yesterday, but I think it's really important is the deals to population ratio. What do I mean by this? So how many deals a county has, let's say, for example, Hayes County, which is San Marco, has 5 deals, 5 wholesale deals, and there's 2 wholesalers. Okay, marketing. That means there is a, 2.5? There's 2. Yeah, 5 by 2 is 2.5, right? I'm just having a mind blank. I swear I went to college. So 2.5 would be that ratio. But if I'm in, let's say, San Antonio, and there is 1,000 deals and 2,000 wholesalers, that's 0.5. So a place like that's less attractive than San Marcos. So it's really dependent on how many deals that's available in that market every single month versus how many wholesalers are there marketing. That's hard to calculate, but that is the secret sauce to finding the perfect market. Like, that's it. Like, nobody talks about it. I talk about it. I can't wait for someone to charge for a course and then drop that gem that they figured out. They charge you $5,000 for to tell you, because they will. There's plenty of gurus watching this stuff. So they'll charge you for that secret gem that no one's going to talk about, but that's it. How many deals in a market versus how many wholesalers in there. That's what you got to care about. And you don't want to be a population where there's no wholesalers and there's not enough. Like, if no one's fishing in the certain area, like, that probably means there's no fish there. So you got no one fishing the Marineris Trench, but everyone's out in Bahamas. So how many texts on average do I, oh yeah, already answer that. You should interview Jacob Blake. Already did. Search Jacob Blank space flip with Rick. Already did. If someone cold call or text 10 to 11 hours a day, wow, that's a lot. Do you think they'll get a deal in a month? 100%. If you're personally doing it, yes. Really hard to do though, but yes. Zach, what do you think of Sacramento, California for wholesaling? Also Sacramento area. Would you want to JV or link up? Hit me up. I'm not in Sacramento, but it's a good market. Probates are the best over there. Citrus County, bro. Killer. Absolutely killer market, bro. Like, do that. Do the counties north and south. What's the one north of Citrus? A little more rural, but Citrus is amazing. Like Crystal River area, pretty good. What's the one north of there? I'm trying to help you out. Ocala's decent. You're a little too far from, yeah. So I would do, what's the one? I forgot what the one south of it, like that Dade City area. It's not Pinellas, it's not Hillsborough, but whatever one's south of Citrus, that one too. Those are the big one. I mean, what do you think? Polk County. Polk County's good. Lakeland's so big, it's an issue. Lakeland's not the best wholesaling market, but Polk County overall is pretty good. Hey Joshua, I'm 17, getting started in wholesaling. I'm about to finish my Facebook guide level 1, but I'm looking at courses now, or Jamel Gibbs courses quality, or any course that you suggest. Jamel Gibbs is one of the realest wholesalers out there. I think he's an amazing dude. That being said, I don't recommend anyone buying any wholesaling courses. I'm not saying that because I don't think Jamel Gibbs is good, because Jamel Gibbs is absolute one of the best wholesalers out there. And that dude's been spitting game for like 18 years. I'm probably saying it wrong, but like he's been almost 2 decades in this wholesaling business. Good friend of me and good friend of Rick. So we're friends with him. He's an absolute amazing dude. That dude, whatever he says, it's the truth. But I don't recommend anyone buying any wholesaling courses. I watch my stuff. I'll do a weekly coaching call for free. Wholesaling houses for real. Like, let me get the link on here. Like wholesaling how I have a free wholesaling course and then a free mastermind where I go live on a coaching call like this, but it's like a Zoom. So I can talk to you a little more. It's absolutely for free. It's like a $10,000 one. It's for free. Hate to give a quick rant here, but it's a free mastermind and course. I'll go live every Friday at 6:30. And I literally I'll do you'll talk to me face to face on a Zoom, and I'll help you for free. I don't want any. I don't want your money. Seriously, I'm trying to put all these gurus out of business. So that's it. That's it, guys. That's all I can say. Don't do it. You're 17. Use that money for your marketing and get the free stuff from me. That's all I can say. I'm changing the way wholesaling education is doing. I'm changing it forever, and I will not stop till everything is changed. So all these gurus stop and they give free content out. That's literally what I want. I don't need this. Honestly, I don't need your money. I make so much. I'm trying to be humble here, but I make enough money in wholesaling real estate where I don't need any of your money. I don't need any 17-year-old kid's money. Seriously. I don't do this stuff for the money. I'm actually just trying to change the way wholesaling education has been done. I think it's the most annoying, worst thing ever. You got to pay $5,000 to get into wholesaling. Wholesaling should be free. You can absolutely do it for free. I did it for free without paying anyone. And I want you guys to do the same exact thing. So I get always hyped up every time anyone mentions that. But don't pay for a course. I'm getting everything for free. Go pay for a course. But the way I'm changing it, I will be the catalyst to change everything. Tesla changed everything when it came to electric cars. Changed the way people are learning wholesaling real estate. You can do it absolutely for free. I'm giving them my best stuff out for free. I am. I could make a lot of money selling courses, and they will be courses, but I give it all out for free because I'm just trying to make an impact on wholesaling community. The wholesaling community in the wholesaling industry, the wholesaling game has changed my life so much. I have to give back, and I do it all for free. I have to give it out back for free. That's my contribution to this world. The financial side is through the actual wholesaling, but I want to give back to the community that blessed me so much. So we're doing this all for free. Don't pay for a wholesaling course. That is all. I literally have it all for free. Seriously, that is all. People don't pay for courses because they pay attention to it after they pay for it. All right, rant's over. Hey, Zach, I'm a solo cold calling right now, hitting 250 to 300 calls a day. Is that solid? Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, keep it up, man. I believe in you. What's up, RK? How are you? Hi from Ireland, wholesaling land from Ireland. Oh my gosh, that is sweet. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it's a little characterized here in the United States, but what is up? Wholesaling land. So European wholesaling. I have no experience at that. There's one guy who does European wholesaling, real estate, investing in Europe. He'd be the guy I would look into more because I only do it pretty much in the United States. So I'm trying to remember his name. I think it's Sam Leeds, but I'm not sure. I haven't vetted him. He could not be legit. He could. I have no idea. He's the only guy I know that talks about wholesaling in Europe. But cool. If you want to wholesale in the United States from Ireland in the United States, I'm your guy. And that's it. Pretty cool. What's up? To determine repairs in Dallas, what I want you to do is contact all your wholesaling friends and network in Dallas and ask them what the repairs are. They'll help you out a lot more. The repairs for Dallas is a lot different. Like to replace a bathroom in Dallas is different than Port St. Lucie, Florida. So that's all I could say about that. Call contractors and call a handyman and see the price to like the cost to change things. It'd be a lot more expensive now if real estate crashes, or if you look at real estate 4 to 5 years ago, the cost of repairs are different. They change almost on a monthly basis now. So right now, that's what I do. I don't buy courses, literally watch YouTube videos, networking, and read books to learn. A lot of people are overcomplicating this business. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, it's like someone's reading my mind. Spitting facts. If you have both time and money, if you both have time and money, what would you be successful in wholesaling? If I had time and money, I would probably do direct mail, honestly. It's the easiest one to do. But I did cold calling just so I learned more and actually like how talking to sellers and things like that. But that's probably what I'd recommend. A little bit of both. But I'd skip trace the list, get a vacant one, and start cold calling that. Thanks for answering my last question, Zach. Name a couple good books if you read. I do read. I am not this guy, though. I will tell you right off the bat. I know a lot of like guys and like coaches and YouTube guys are like, I read 10 books a day and I just read everywhere. And that's why I'm so successful. Like, I'm not that type of guy. I read a good amount, but I'm not like an insane guy. Like maybe I'll read a book a month. Like it's embarrassing. But I'm not more that reading type of guy. Like I'm always in the car. So I'll have an audio book going. So it's not like physical reading. I'll have a podcast on. But I like the wholesaling. Why I'm not calling myself an expert in wholesaling or real estate. I still learn and study from the best out there. That I always see what they're doing and see what other people are doing. But I get a lot more value out from learning about other people, like reading about Elon Musk or reading interviews from Jeff Bezos running businesses. A lot of the higher level stuff and like some of the people I'm trying to obtain. So I could read a book from a guy talking about 7-figure wholesale. I'm already there. How do I get more? And those are some good books. But ones that I'll read again, like I'll read repeatedly books, is Unleash the Power Within, Tony Robbins. That's a really good one. Next one would be Rocket Fuel, The Go-Giver. Amazing book. Very, very much big inspiration on me with the YouTube channel, giving everything for free. Because I do, Tony Robbins says this too, but the Go-Giver does say this a lot. It's the more you give, the more you'll receive. And I don't do this I don't know how to say that word. Like facetiously, be like, I'm going to give everything for free because I know I'm going to get stuff back. Like I don't do that. Like I just give. I don't expect anything in return. And I'm just more blessed. The more I give, the more blessed I become. So that's why I try to give so much, because I can just keep getting blessed every day. So the Go-Giver is really good. Traction from Gino Wickman's really good. And I think Go for No is a really good book. And I'm trying to look at my bookshelf here. And then maybe, Can't Hurt Me from David Goggins. Another really good book. A lot of people are like, David Goggins, he's too tough. Like he's all or nothing. But like you got to sometimes in this business. Like it's a dog eat dog world out there. I have a house under contract, no buyers. Please help. Is it under a good, like, is the price really good on it? I need more context. What market? Things like that. I finally went virtually, hired a texter, and have a cold caller who is calling. I want to know, is Tampa a good market? Tampa's a good market. I would probably get another one though. I've never seen a lot of like crazy big success in Tampa. It's a pretty saturated one, but it's a good market. You'll do pretty good there. It's pretty saturated though. Do you think I would be successful just calling and saying I'm a wholesaler and I can get your property sold fast? No. Say you're here to buy properties. That's way, let's see. Do you think I would be successful just calling and saying I'm a wholesaler and just get your property sold fast? No. Like, honestly, like, seriously, no. My man said Mariana Trench. I think that's what it's called. It's the deepest point in the ocean. Like, I know, like, a little bit, but, like, I'm not this type of guy that will like, I don't have everything perfect, but it's one of them, right? Hopefully. How many texts to get a lead? Maybe 300 to 400. I'm in a saturated market, so keep that up. Keep it. Make sure you know. Hey Zach, what's up? How to value a house in rural areas? I like cash flow comps. Those are my favorite. So if a property is selling, I mean, if it's renting out for like $1,000 a month, divide that by 1%. Use that rule, and then probably be worth around 100K. I like to go from cash flow from there. It's a lot easier with like a rural area where there's no good comps. OMG, Zach, this is amazing. Alexander, you're amazing. Your support is what's driving us. So love to help you guys out. Love the support you guys give. Do you have a link for your Zoom? So my Zooms will be in the Facebook Wholesaling Mastermind group. There's a course in there. So in units, I was able to like make a little course. Like it's a legit it's like $1,000 wholesaling course. It's got everything in there. So basically the link will be in the announcements of that Facebook group. It's the largest wholesaling mastermind actually in the country, which is pretty cool. Facebook.com/groups/wholesaling houses for real. Go in there and we'll see you Friday. What made you so passionate about helping others for free? Great question. Basically, I started out in wholesaling. I don't want to do a big rant about this, but I started out in wholesaling and basically kind of on my own. Rick didn't want to help me. And just reading books, learning all free content because I had $300. Like I couldn't pay for a $5,000 course. So I had no money. I had to start out with nothing and spent all my money on bandit signs and eventually did pretty well from there, all in high school. So I DM'd a lot of the biggest YouTubers out there, especially back then. And I DM'd them all, like questions, like really, like I really wanted help. No one did these live stream Q&As like 4 years ago. No one did any of this. And I always I DM'd them all like really important questions. Like, hey, I have $300. Like, what should I do? And guess what they all did? They left me on scene. They left me on red and they didn't answer it because, hey, this guy doesn't have money or, he's not trying to buy my account or, use my, go buy my course or go to my webinar for $50. So they just read it and they went to the next one. And I told myself, if I ever got in a position where money was never an issue for the rest of my life, I will dedicate, and I had the time, I would dedicate my time helping others for free, putting these guys who have just, they left me for dead, I guess, more or less. I'm going to put them all out of business. That's it. Like I am going to change the way wholesaling education because if there's a guy like me out here, I think I could easily, oh my gosh, I might have like $1 million more in my bank account if I had that extra head start. So I think that was a big statement to make, but I think it's true because it took me so long trying to get I got my first deal within a month, but if I had more of that free info, like the stuff that I'm giving out, like I would learn about sub twos. There's so many sub two deals I could have done if I even knew about them. And y'all had to pay a crazy course for it, like a $7,000 one or like $1,000 payments. So that's what got me really passionate into it. And basically putting all these guys out of business. Nicest way I can put it. And that's it. And money's not an issue for me anymore. So I can go do this all for free. I love it. Sometimes we'll have an affiliate code or something. That's because it'll be on a service that I actually use in my wholesaling business. And from there, that service I use, they let me give you guys free trials. That's kind of why I do it. I think we make like maybe $10 if someone signs up. And then I just use that to hire it. I use that for like video editing because I actually lose money on the channel, which is pretty funny with video editing. So that's kind of what we do. You are so genuine. Thank you so much, Donna. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Graham. Thank goodness I hate these gurus oversaturating this business. I'm telling you right now. I'm putting them all in business. And you guys actually liking these videos, subscribing, just watching and supporting me. You're helping the YouTube algorithm out, putting these people you'll rank me above the guy selling a $4,000 course. So you just watching this or supporting me in any way, just helps us eke closer to beating these guys out. And some of the gurus have actually posted they posted some pretty nasty stuff about me, and I just ignore it. Someone will send it to me, and I'll look at it for a second, and I'll be like, oh, okay, interesting. But it's funny. But their biggest thing against me is, all right, he's just trying to get emails and he's trying to collect all this data. And then after, right when he hits 22 years old, he's going to start charging courses and putting everything behind a paywall. That's what he's doing. I know it ain't happening, guys. Like, it's free. Like, I'm going to be 95 years old during a live, and I'm going to have collagen. I'm going to look like this because of technology and stuff. I'll have my Elon Musk brain chips in there, and I'm going to be doing the same for free. That's it, guys. The Elon Musk of wholesaling. I love it. That's a great one. Can we wholesale in the US virtually from the UK? Yes, you can. There's guys from Trinidad and Tobago, Ireland. I've seen guys from Argentina do this, Germany. There's so many international people watching this. Plenty of people from the down under. Guys, there's so many international people doing really well in this business, and you can do. Come on. Tax is a little different, but not a big deal. You can still make a lot of money. Hey, Zach, can you do a video on rebuttals to seller objections? DM me. Do objections space flip with Rick. Those videos should pop up pretty good. Best time of day to reach out to sellers. You need to know if your seller is an evening person or a morning person. You can't go wrong at 11 a.m. and then you can't go wrong at like 4 p.m. or after their work at like 6. Those are the best times. Hey, Mr. Seller. Hey, Ro. Are you a morning person or afternoon person? All right, so I'll talk to you this evening or in the morning. Some older people, though, if you talk to an older seller, they're up at like 5 a.m., like at 7, like they want to talk. They'll call you at like 7 a.m., so you got to know. That's what I always ask. Pam Sharma says, let's see here. Zach, you're awesome. Thank you so much for helping us out. My question is, texting a good way to market motivated sellers? I've watched a video on this. Yeah, I think it is. What I want you to do is just test out 500. So if you do 500 texts for $1, which is like what, 15, 20 bucks for the text, I guess. If you do that, test out if 500 even gets you anything. Test out in your market. That's another thing. Because of the leverage I have, I can go and ask batch leads to give me a free trial. Basically, like, they'll lose money every time they do that to actually do it. And it helps you guys out. So pretty cool. Any negotiating tips? Also, are you actively looking to pick up any distressed assets to hold yourself? We got rental properties. We got plenty of them. A lot of subject twos. Creative finance ones too. We own plenty of assets. And we're always looking to add more. I mean, I'm not going to give you my Dave Ramsey, Warren Buffett type of like finance talk, but just having like hundreds of thousands of dollars in a bank account, that inflation is going to eat it away. Get an asset that will go up with inflation. Stocks is a good one. Bonds, I don't like bonds. Stocks, real estate. I mean, get stuff that goes up with inflation. That's all I could say. Oh yeah. Any negotiating tips? The best negotiating tip is don't say the price first. Also, meet in the middle. Make sure that you have your price so low that meeting in the middle is actually a really good price for you. Hey, Zach, we have a Facebook group for internationals REI in the US from OS for support. Awesome. Sweet. Got to do a meetup, Zach. Bro, once COVID is over, I don't want to be liable for any of that because there's definitely plenty of people that would love to sue me. So after this whole COVID thing's over, love to do a meetup and we can go from there. But if you guys are open to meetups, I'm always free. Like I will be I would love to go travel the country. So that'd be something to be pretty cool. Let's get a little more following going on the YouTube where like if I do it, like we'll have like 200 people in a room wherever I go. That'd be pretty cool. I'll do it for like, are you kidding me? Like I love traveling. So yeah, I'd love to do it. Maybe do it all 50 states. That'd be pretty cool. How do you handle when the seller says, let's check with my attorney? I had one that killed my contract before. You look very suspicious and bad when you say, no, don't use an attorney. You got to give it to him. And I usually like to use a more realtor contract with it, but that'd probably be the best one, in my opinion. North Carolina is a really good market. Be real with the people. It's a $5,000 course that you're giving away for free. It's a $5,000 course and a $5,000 mastermind, more or less. So that's the one on the bottom. But yeah, so I try to give as much as I can. Until which hour? I think 2 to 7 p.m. is the best time for cold calling for wholesaling. Do you email before Zoom starts? No, I don't email. there's an announcement on the Facebook group, and I'll go live in it, so we'll pop up a notification for you. My biggest fear is saying I'm an investor and the seller like finding out and stopping the contract. If you have the confidence, that will never be an issue. That has never been an issue for me. Or if they know, they don't care. Hey, Zach, have you ever wholesaled in SoCal? What's experience with that? I've recently pulled one of your list recommendations, still waiting a deal. Inland Empire is the best part of SoCal. Should I hire an acquisitions manager to help convert leads or to continue to learn how to talk to sellers? How much do you pay an acquisitions manager? So I recommend with everything, you should be an expert in every facet and way in place in your wholesaling business before you get employees. So what I recommend is become an expert in acquisitions. And then when you hire someone, training them will be a lot easier. It's like, if you don't know how to cold call, how are you going to hire a cold caller? Like, you're like, oh, but I don't know electricity. I'm not like an electrician, but I'll hire one. Doesn't work like that. Like, especially acquisitions managers, you have to train them. There's electricians already trained. So I would say become an expert and then hire one. Pay 10 to 15%. Finding out I'm a wholesaler, not a big deal. Zach, what's the difference in wholesaling a condo? You just got the HOA fees on there. And then if they're behind on any payments, that should really be it. And then sometimes you can't flip real estate or have a rental in there. So it might switch up your cash buyers, but that's really it. My biggest fear is me coming as an investor and selling. Yeah, I already talked about that, Brandon. If you have the confidence and you're very transparent, you should be fine. What's the best way to get inside a property when a seller seems like they are playing games? Get a lockbox on it. Or ask, hey, I'll be around at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Will you be able to be there so I can walk through it? That's it. Hey, I'm about to cold call a vacant out-of-state property owner, absentee owners right now. Any tips on what to say to make a deal? Any tips on what to say to make a deal? Cold calling, just qualify them and then go from there. Set the appointment, especially virtually, and then go from there. That is my best recommendation. SoCal, so I already answered this one. I like the Inland Empire, and then high equity is really good. Great book to read, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, all about negotiating and increasing wholesaling spreads. Great book. Do you call LLC-owned properties and church-owned properties? I do not call church-owned properties. I do not call LLC-owned properties either, except if it's for cash buyers. Church-owned properties will definitely get the most out of it. So when you do subject to deals, do you assume the debt on your credit report? Do you ever get overwhelmed to seeing the mortgage balance on your credit report? I don't assume any of the debt for a subject to. I let them assume the debt. That's the big part. Can you run a comp for me? Yeah, give me the address. Zach, how do you find a sub 2 deal? Maybe I'm not presenting it properly. I offer full price. Any advice? Sub 2's got to work. So if you're marketing to extreme low equity, it might work. If you don't, then no. So I would text blast 20% or less equity with listrei.com. That's how I would find my sub 2 deals. We're not really actively marketing that crazy for sub 2s because the wholesaling's just been way better, and equity just keeps building up like crazy because everyone's just moving to Florida. But when the market shifts, we'll probably go back to SMS blasting. We'll use listrei.com to pull the list of 20% less equity, get the right areas, make sure they're nicer homes. Sub 2s are different. And then from there, I'll offer full price and then basically say, but it'll have to be payments, and then just talk about payments. No, because every state's so different with it. Like in Texas, it's different than Florida for sub 2s. So no. Would you care to call out any gurus, shyster, scammers? I trust your judgment in terms of credibility, real estate advice. I am not in the business to talk bad about anybody. Positivity will be the best for everybody. That is why I 100% in my soul believe that. I don't like to say anything negative about anyone specifically. I'll say something negatively about an industry or a group of things, but really at the end of the day, people are just trying to make money. I can't say anything mean about these gurus like too much because a lot of these gurus aren't making enough money in their wholesaling business where they have to sell courses to make ends meet. So how am I going to attack or make fun of somebody who's just trying to feed their family? So I guess there was a slight dig there that most of these guys aren't actually doing 7 figures, because they should have no problem giving the stuff out for free because they're making enough money in their wholesaling business. And that's all I could say. But the only name I've heard out here mentioned is Jamel Gibbs. And that dude, I can never say anything bad about him. That dude's legit. So that's it. Like, that's the only guru I think that ever got mentioned on this live. He's the one dude that my credible real estate advice I would trust. But that's it. I have a contract in Indianapolis with no buyers. How should I get them? ListREI.com, pull all the cash transactions in that zip code, and then skip trace it with SMSZach.com, and then cold call. How do you approach probate leads? I like to do mail, and I like to cold call them. Hey, brother, I'm in SoCal here in Rialto. Decent market. I mean, not the best, but it's still do deals there. Great content, Zach. More San Antonio. Great one. Great one. Sup, Zach. When seller asks for proof of funds and I don't have end buyer, what is your answer for the seller? So I never get, I'll be straight up with you guys. I've never been asked for proof of funds. Like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I've never been asked for proof of funds. I had the demeanor of a guy that had the money. Even when I was 17, I had $300 in my bank account. No, I mean, I have the demeanor of that. I got the money to buy it. So really, with proof of funds, if they really ask for it, I mean, sometimes you got to be straight up with them. I'm not the guy to tell you to do a fake proof of funds. How long do you work a market for you decide it's a dud? Basically, if I do every marketing strategy in it and it doesn't work, I'll just cut it out. So if I do SMS not working, direct mail not working, RVM not working, I mean, cold calling will always work more or less, but that's kind of how I'll decide. Give it about a month or two. What am I missing when I pull a list from PropStream for SMS and add 2 more filters? I get a very small amount of records back. What should I do? Give me an example and I'll pull it with you right now. Why not? But basically, the pull list, I like high equity in an area. Then I also prefer that's not on the market. And then maybe I'll do vacants. It just really depends what market you're in. Are you doing sub 2 deals? I'm not doing sub deals in Cali right now, but I think you can do pretty good ones in Cali. Yeah. All right, let's pull this comp, baby. Should I list REI.com or do it absolutely for free? Let's do it for free. I don't think everyone can do it, so let's just do it together. So we'll go to Realtor.com here. I think that's the best free one, in my personal opinion. Like, if you like, I don't like Zillow. I beef against Zillow because I don't think it's the best one out there. But let's go share the screen here and let's try to find comps. I'm gonna do it really quickly because there's so many questions. So let me just pop it up here and then I'll share my screen with you guys. 1429. Heidi. Hide it lane. Find this really quick. We'll get the comp in there. How do I think you're spelling that wrong. HE 1429 HIDT 1429. Yeah, it's not popping up. Give me the address one more time and I'll try it, but it's not really popping up for me right now. So you might give me the wrong one. You're talking about Hide It Street? Okay, Hide It Street. I got it. All right, I got it. Okay. Sorry guys for the wait here. Okay. So share my screen really quick. So it looks like it's a 3-1, 903 square feet on this property. It actually looks pretty nice. Okay. Nicely painted. Let's see here. All right. So some comps really quickly, because I'm gonna make this really quick. 937 square feet, 903. So 72K for this one. Looks like these didn't sell though. We have a contingent at 11 square feet, 3.2. Not a lot of comps. Okay, so 116 for a nicer 116. Pop this one out. So just look at 131 Renaissance Way here. And then this similar comp is actually pretty nice. I would be closer to like 65 on that one, maybe 60. I don't know the condition of it though. So let's see here. Okay. All right. Cool. So let's see here. Let's pop Rick on here. So Rick's here. He's going to take over here for us. And basically, so he'll be answering all the questions. So if you want, hop on here, Rick, and then we'll be answering questions. So take it away. I appreciate you guys watching me. Rick's going to end this out. I don't know how long he's going to go for, but he'll talk about everything. So take it away. Thanks, guys. Happy St. Patty's Day.
All right. Boy, I got to adjust this thing. What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn.
First questions.
Hold on. Let me see where we left off.
That'll be the first one.
Right there?
Yeah.
Got it.
Scroll down.
Okay. See you, Zach. What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, this is Rick Ginn. I'm actually Zach's dad. I taught him this business at age 17 just to prove a point that anybody that has the will and the want to succeed in wholesaling real estate, it's possible. It doesn't matter your age, your income. It doesn't matter anything. So I started in this business 18 years ago, and it's been phenomenal. So I'm going to dive right into the questions. I'm not as fast as Zach, so you guys can ask me anything. It's live, and we'll go from there. So let's start with Char Michelle. When and how do you state to the seller that you want to put a lockbox on the property? So I let the situation dictate how this goes down. Obviously, if the house is vacant, if it's empty, and if the seller is living in another state or something, is a very simple conversation. Guys, don't have a conversation to put a lockbox on a homeowner that's living in the property. You just need to navigate your buyers around them. But if the opportunity arises, they're not living in the property and you can help keep an eye on the property. I've even offered to pay basic utilities or even cut the lawn in exchange for putting a lockbox on, so I don't have to bother them when I bring my repair people by, when I potentially bring buyers by. And a lot of them will take it just out of convenience. But if they're suspect and they're wary and they've had bad encounters with other investors, it's not the best idea. So hopefully that helps you out with that one. So here's a good one. So what's up, Isaiah? How you doing, man? So Isaiah asks, what do you say when people threaten to call their attorney, police, etc., when you text blast them? Have you ever been sued? So I've been doing this 18 years. I started the texting. Actually, when I brought Zach on, when he jumped in the business at 17, we started around that first year. So I get threats all the time. I move on. The main thing is with people, it doesn't matter if it's direct mail, any type of disruptive marketing, which is going to be SMS texting, RVMing, really cold calling, is you're going to piss off a certain percent of the audience. So if they do that, just kill them with kindness. Don't get in a fight with them. Don't argue with them. People who threaten to sue you rarely ever do. It's the quiet ones in the back you got to watch for. Have I been sued? Yes, I have. I've been sued multiple times. It's no big deal. It's actually part of my business plan now, but I never worry about the people who threaten it on when I use a marketing channel. So just kill them with kindness, tell them you'll take them off your list, and tell them to have a super fantastic day. Most people they don't know how to attack kindness. So if you hit them with kindness, they're expecting you to fight them, and you're not going to fight them. Great question, Isaiah. So Christy says, great answer. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. So good question, Paul. And I know you guys are used to Zach answering this question. It's a dynamite question. So what would you do if you're dropped off in a city with a cell phone, $100 and a laptop? So I'll be honest with you, throw the $100 out the window. Let's go like gangster style on this. So the first thing you need to do, the only other thing I would put on that is I would probably add a time frame and say you had to get a deal in like 30 days. Guys, if you are laser focused in getting a wholesale deal, you will make it happen. The question is, are you going to use the resources in your local market, or are you going to go virtual? So let's just say I dropped into a market out of nowhere. Let's go into one of the toughest ones, I think. Phoenix is a challenging market right now. There's just so many investors. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to try to take down a dinosaur. It's my first deal. So I need to pay my rent. I need to get a gas in the car, and I need to get something within 2 to 4 weeks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip through Craigslist. If I got $100, I'm going to skip trace. I'm going to go manually get the code violations list. I'm not going to do the probate because it's going to take too long. So probates are great, but they do take time. And what I'm going to do is cold call and meet with as many people as possible. I'm also going to network with other investors. I know I advise against it, but when you need to get like basic money on the table for survival, this is what I would do. If you took everything away from me today and I had to get a deal to pay my rent or my mortgage, I would immediately network. I would reach out to as many realtors that connect with investor type properties as humanly possible. I would find other wholesale deals that I could make a quick buck off. And if I had to take that first $1,500 to survive the next month, that's what I would do. And what I would do is I'd slowly build up till I collected $4,000 to $10,000. And then I would do kind of a more holistic, natural business approach, which is buy my list. I would definitely use PropStream. I would pull out the vacant list. I would take the high equity. I'd get the code violations. I would get the tax delinquencies, and I would go crazy until I got my first 50 grand. And then once I got 50 grand, I'm probably going to hire people to delegate, and then I'm really going to ramp it up. And by the way, I think I just summed up my 18 years there. So good question, Paul. A lot of times is you just have to put the work in. Too many people are too eager to hire people out. You have got to walk a mile in a wholesaler's shoes before you start trying to outsource everything. So great question. Okay, I'm moving through the list, guys. So keep them coming. I don't understand that one, Josh. I'm going to put it up there, but maybe Josh, if you want to just kind of add to this. I don't know if you're talking about the sport lacrosse, but you're asking some sort of boots on the ground. Oh, I assume maybe it's Louisiana. It's an area over there. How can you put boots on the ground? I don't understand the question. So put it back up there, Josh, and I'll answer it. I'll remember you. So, okay. Isaiah asks, are you still text blasting in today's market? I don't like cold calling, and I don't feel that direct mail is pretty outdated. So this is a awesome question. Are you still text blasting in today's market? Yes. The truth of the matter is it's less effective because so many people are doing it. And these companies doing it are putting mandatory filters on it for opt-out language. Makes it more spammy and less effective. Your delivery rates, they're all going down. Guys, get used to it. They're going to keep squeezing it out. I would run with it while you can, but it is problematic. You don't like cold calling. Perfect. I hate freaking cold calling. I think I rather just take a dull spoon and gouge my eye out than sit there and call 10,000 people. Now, would I do it in the beginning? Yeah, if I had to get a deal and put food on the plate, but I would learn how to do it and then I would hire somebody to help me or have them do all the cold calling. The beauty about wholesaling is you don't have to do the things you don't like to do. So my point is, if it's not in your personality style, do not change your personality for wholesaling. You change wholesaling to fit your personality style. So if you hate cold calling, guess what, Isaiah? Don't do it. It's great. Now, it is a wonderful avenue. And once again, cold calling is getting saturated. And most people won't be brutally honest with you. The cost of cold calling is expensive. I would venture to say that it is close to the cost as direct mail if you outsource it. If you do it yourself, you can make the economies of scale work. Now, this last one you see, direct mail is pretty outdated. That's just your opinion. So Isaiah, you got to open up. Direct mail works. Of all the big investors I work with all over the country, every one of them, 100% of them have some sort of direct mail in it. People, it's first of all, is legal, it's scalable, and it's inbound marketing. So you said you hate cold calling. If you use direct mail, they call you. You still got to filter them out. You still got to qualify, but it works. So I spend quite a bit of money on direct mail, and my return on investment is 6 to 7-fold of what I invest in direct mail. So if I took that attitude with direct mail, I would be missing a huge component of getting our deals on it. But great questions, Isaiah. So let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Colleen asked a question here. Best sources for finding AMs and VAs. So AMs, I assume, is acquisition managers, and VAs is going to be virtual assistants. So let's start with the easy one first. VAs, in my opinion, if you're just starting out, the easiest ways to scrape and find them, Upwork is great because they have all the systems built into it, meaning they'll do screen captures to make sure they're working on the projects you give them. And you can also authorize their pay and put in checks and balances to keep an eye on them. Now, I will warn you on VAs, guys, do not try to find the cheapest VA. It will be the most expensive one you ever hire. So I like VAs that work in an opposite time zone for me for doing back-end work. If you're going to get a sales support VA, make sure they work on US time frame for you. They have to. So a lot of times you can find people in South America, sometimes in the Caribbean, and you get quality work. I'm not going to tell you what rate, but please, guys, $4 an hour, you're going to get what you pay for. It's going to be complete junk. So a lot of the range is anywhere from $6 to $8. And if they're helping you out with sales, make sure you pay them and have some sort of bonus incentive. Now, acquisitions managers, I have a lot of experience in this. So the best acquisition managers are people that you can pre-vet. So it's somebody you met at like a local RIA. It's somebody maybe worked with you in another prior business. You cannot, in my opinion, take an acquisition managers off of Craigslist and just plug them into your business. It's too hard. So what I do, if I look at my direct circle of influence, your COI, circle of influence, I look for people that have this same core characteristics I look for in an acquisitions manager. Remember, an acquisitions manager is the lifeblood of your company. You spend all this marketing, if you're out there cold calling and spending all this energy, and they meet with your customers, they have the ability to steal the deal if they're unethical. They have the ability to be lazy. There's all sorts of things. So number one, make sure they pass your core characteristics. So if you believe someone should be on time, they have to have integrity, they have to be honest, and they've already pre-vetted this in maybe a previous business you've done. One of my acquisitions managers right now is, I told him 3 years ago, literally 3 years ago, if you ever wind up leaving this industry, call me first. Guess what? I got a call. It was like 9 months ago. I knew this guy was, I hate to use the word rock star, it's overly abused, was dynamite. And we plugged him in a pay plan. It took us 3 months to get him up to speed, but he had all the core character stuff. I knew he would treat people with the utmost integrity, and he had a killer closing instinct. We just had to train him on our AM acquisition training, a lot of sales training, and we do that on a weekly basis with him. So AMs, you want to find somebody in your circle of influence, VA, just go to Upwork. And if you're going to use a sales support person, keep them on US time. If they're going to do back-end work, have them work the opposite time frame. A lot of ones in the Philippines, in India and stuff like that will do stuff while you're sleeping, which is really cool. Awesome question, Colleen. Okay, let's see here. Real estate investors, would you ever pay for a mentorship? I think I just need to be pushed harder because I don't push myself hard enough, even though I'm making deals and being new. So this is near and dear to my heart. So for the record, I have paid a ton of money in mentorship. I believe the right mentorship works. Now, here's the challenge. I don't have a name, so I'll just call you real estate. The question is, do you need a coach or do you need a mentor? So here's the difference. A coach is the guy or gal that coached you during, say, if you played softball or you played football or you played baseball, basketball, whatever it is, and they get you through a season. They get you through a deal. Guys, that's free right here. I'm telling you, I've been doing this 18 years. You guys know I train Zach like a ninja, and Zach has that passion and he likes to carry it on. So I had a lot of frustrations. I paid a lot of people that disappointed me. I paid a lot of people that helped me make a lot of money. So it's all a journey on it. When you talk about a mentorship, you're talking about like a father figure. So maybe it's your father, maybe it's your uncle, somebody helped you and they guided you the moral principles. The difference is, like, I love my father to death, but my business principles I got from learning from other people. A lot of this stuff was old school way, go to college, get a degree, get a good corporate job. Guys, I tried all that and I gave it up at 33. It just didn't work for me. Might work for others, didn't work for me. So you need a kick in the butt. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Yes, you can hire a coach or a mentor, but in the end, guess what? You have to do the work. Bottom line, you can sit here and you can talk about it all day. You get a good kick in the butt. Go out and do it. So what I would do is I would go out and just go over some Tony Robbins videos. So if you can do a Tony Robbins event in your area, I dragged Zach there when he was young. I dragged my daughter. I dragged my wife. I believe Tony is a great person to inspire you to. You don't have to accept what life gives you. You have to go out and get it. So if you want, I'll kick you in your butt. But it doesn't matter if you pay me 10 grand or I do this for free. At some point, you have to be accountable for yourself. So my recommendation is you need more of a coach than a mentor because you've got to get your wheels turning and you got to get some discipline put in your life to get things going. Talking about the time you wake up, the amount of marketing you do, how much time you spend sales training, physical fitness, the whole 9 yards, taking care of your family. It all comes full circle. And that's why I love this business. So go do a bunch of Tony Robbins stuff. I love it. I mean, he's got hundreds of hours of free video and training, and just start there and see what video resonates with you. As far as the coaching, you can pay someone 10 grand or you can sit here and use me and Zach. I'm telling you, I have 18 years of experience. I'm not holding back. You know why? I do very well in wholesaling real estate. This is why I share the information. The trick is a lot of mentors and coaches, they rely on the coaching as their primary income. And honestly, I don't blame them. They're making a killing. I don't need to do it. Am I disrupting the market? Yeah. Is Zach disrupting the market? Absolutely. So go ahead and use the tools that are free for you. And then why don't you just get some steps going and then you can make the decision. I always tell people, get 2 or 3 wholesale deals on your deal before you commit to like a full-time mentorship and stuff like that. And the biggest thing I ask, if you ever hire a mentor or coach in real estate, show me the deals you do. Show me that you're actually doing deals. Me and Zach show you deals every day. We're doing 3 deals this week alone. We love this business and it's fun. So if I thought a mentor or a coach would just push you over the edge and kick you in the butt, it would, but it's going to cost you money and they're still going to kick you in the butt. And at the end, you have to be accountable. They can't make you go out there and do a deal. So good question. Okay, let's see here. Anthony, what's up, Anthony? How do you deal with tenants in a virtual market? Seller wants nothing to do them. How do you deal with tenants in a virtual market? Well, here's a little secret. Most landlords that sell properties, even if it's virtual or local, they're usually selling it because the tenants are driving them nuts or not paying it. Now, I've lived this. I owned as many as 30 properties at once when I first started this because I collected everything, and they drove me insane. So it's not as sexy as you think it is to own rental properties. Cash flow wise, yes, but dealing with tenants. So how do you deal with them? I love to buy properties in my local market. I buy them virtually too. A lot of them will offer you, they'll give you a really good price, but you got to take it with the tenant included with it. Now, if there's enough money there locally, it's really easy to do it. Virtually, more of a challenge. You're going to have to call and talk to the tenant. I don't know that a Zoom call is really going to help you out at all. The other way is get some boots on the ground, have them go talk to the tenant and look at the property, pay somebody like $50 to help you out with it. Make sure you know what you're getting into. There's a lot of state laws with squatters. We're dealing with COVID right now. It is challenging. So make sure you price in an eviction if they're not going to pay you for 4 months. Here's a little trick on those contracts. You can get the seller enter into a contract, and if they're kind of beating you up on the price, go say, listen, I can execute at this price, and the property has to be vacant upon closing. And a lot of them will sign it. I don't like to surprise them. And they go, yeah, okay, I'll just get them out. 9 times out of 10, they can never get them out, and you'll wind up getting a reduction. So awesome question, Anthony, but you got to get some boots on the grounds to help you out with them. Okay, Colleen, what's your favorite CRM? Whichever one you use. Why? Because it's what you believe in. I've been guilty of using I've used 7 different CRMs. Guess what? In the end, they all do the exact same thing. Some are a little bit better than others. So use the one that's most user-friendly to you. I like Podio. It's pretty straightforward. I think it costs you $14 a month for the basic version, and it's not complicated. There's so many CRMs on there. You just don't want to get in the habit of constantly switching CRMs. It'll drive you freaking nuts. And if you have a team, you'll drive them even more nuts. So try to find one you can marry. Just keep it simple. Like, I'm not going to say the other one, and you know what I mean. It's keep it simple, blank. The abbreviation is KISS. The simpler you make it, the better off it is. And then you can, why I like Podio is you can build it as you go along. You can bring in people and help you out. And I think I've got 6 people on Podio, and it's like $60, $70 a month. So it's pretty straightforward. So too many bells and whistles. Listen, the main thing you use a CRM for is to store data and help you with follow-ups. So don't let, there is no magical. I had a CRM up to $600 a month, and I got rid of it because my staff got so frustrated trying to figure out how to, we spent more time training than we actually did putting deals in it. So awesome question. Okay. And guys, by the way, feel free to ask me any questions. You want to ask questions about Zach? You want to ask questions about me? I've been in this business 18 years. I love this business. I hate that we're all kind of locked up. Not really locked up with COVID, but it's just much harder to do some sort of gathering. Me and Zach have some stuff in the works. It's going to be like really fun. So, so Khalil, I hope I didn't butcher your name, but says, what are you saying to probates? So Khalil, if you know me, you know I love probates. So at one time, I actually created a course. I documented. It was actually probably one of the top selling courses out there. And I just stopped doing it because I had gurus calling me saying, you're teaching the entire system how to do probates. And I was charging next to nothing for it. And it was literally 4 or 5 hours of instructions on what to do step by step. Yes, Khalil, I still do probates today. Are they more challenging? Absolutely. More people are doing it than ever. Realtors are doing it. Everyone's doing it. Estate auctions are going after them. But they are by far, hands down, my most profitable deal. So yes, what do I say to probates? I say do them till you turn blue. So, and you want to do it in your local area. They're a little bit challenging to do virtually because every county and every state is different. So good question. All right. So nothing to something. That's a creative name. I pulled the whole zip code. It's taken me a while to get the deal. I'm missing some information there, but just keep at it. So if I told you, if you pulled X amount of zip code or this amount of data or this list from PropStream and you're going to get a deal in 21 days, I'm lying to you. You might get it in 2 hours. You might get it in 3 months. It might be 6 months. I don't know what it is. The key is to be consistent and persistence. That's what gets you deals. Doesn't matter how old you are or your financial ability. So Jerry asks, is there any way to reach out to you besides YouTube? Yeah, I mean, our Facebook group's a great place to do it. If you want to send a message, I try to get through them. Zach helps me out with it. Yeah, I think we're more reachable than most people. I don't charge a fee or anything like that. Guys, we are here to peel the barrier off of the guru world. So I don't believe anybody should have to pay to learn wholesaling. Now, when I started in 2003, there was very few people to teach it to you, and it was hard to find a guru. Now, everybody's one. And to be honest with you, there's some really good ones out there, and I'm not here to knock it, but if I can make a majority of my income flipping deals and doing deals for 18 years, I don't want to tax myself opening up a coaching business, because that becomes a business. And the trend I notice is most gurus, they start out in wholesaling, they make some good money, and then they switch over to coaching. And then they basically have to give up all their time for coaching. And I don't understand that model. Now, the reason they're doing it, I'm going to give you the truth here. They're making a lot of money on the coaching, and it's easy and it's scalable, and it's just easy to take people's money. That's why they do it. Most of them stop investing and they don't have an investing business. And they'll tell you, I was so successful, I quit. Why? My business is extremely successful. I would never leave my real estate investing business. The reality is, if somebody leaves their real estate investing business, it's most likely because it's not doing well. And it's easier to take 5-10 grand from like 50 or 60 people at a time. It's a great business model. It won't last. I've watched the handwriting on the wall. So me and Zach had a conversation, said, let's just give everything away for free. And we want you to get your first few deals, get it done. It's just like your ABCs. Did you pay to learn your alphabets? Wholesaling is just a stepping stone. And the more people we can connect with, I think the better everyone will do. So great question, Jerry. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Zach's really good with that stuff, as you guys know. Okay. Okay, I lost my place here. Let's see here. Okay, Anthony asks, you got so much skin in the game. What's something you always see changing and that you find most important to stay on top of? So much skin in the game. Anthony, I do, but I don't. So here's the main mantra I live by is, if I make a big fat like pay week, we have like a really good week, the next day I start over. So what's the old famous saying is, oh God, I forget it. The main thing is I never rely on that nest egg I created the day before. I start out broke. So when I wake up tomorrow morning, it's reset, the clock is zero. It's a new day. The sun came up, the bank account's at zero. Let's go fight. And that's like my key mantra on going on. So saying I have skin in the game, everything I do is based on risk aversion. So I have the ability to pay cash for a house or put down a small amount, but still my most favorite deals are ones we put under contract and we quickly and easily assign for a huge profit. You know why? Because I don't have any skin in the game, Anthony. And that's what I love about this business. I demonstrate it every day. I showed you how a 17-year-old can go from $0 to $100,000 just applying basic strategies. And by the way, these are free strategies. So if you guys need a kick in the butt, kick yourself in the butt, because you're getting a free course right here, right now. So things you need to stay on top of, you always have to stay on what's going on in the market. So I always look at inventory levels, because realtors control 90% of the game. I admit that. not crazy about it, but that's what it is. And my product always winds up in the end user's hands. And that's what I'm going to keep on top of it. And then I'm going to keep on top of interest rates and government agenda. So, so like right now, I believe 1031s are getting ready to go away, and the inheritance tax is going to be a real issue on probates with the Biden administration, and the corporate tax rates going to most likely go up to 31%, which in my opinion is going to have a significant impact on our entire economy, not just real estate. So, but always be learning and find more and more ways to keep earning. So, okay, let me see here. Good one though. So, hey, Rick, what's the best marketing for probates and where do you get the list of probates? Really simple. Let's start with where do you get the list? The list is always going to be originated at your local courthouse. The question is, do you physically have to go in and get it, or is it going to be online? If you have to go and get it in person at the courthouse, you have an advantage because not many people want to do that. And that's one of the ways I really made the most money when I started out doing probates. If you get them online, that's great. It's convenient. They'll charge you like a business membership fee. You just got to move fast. So probate is all about speed. Whoever gets the lead first and can connect with that potential seller, the PR, they're going to do the best. As far as the type of marketing, when I originally started teaching probates back in 2013, I taught you, I only like to send letters. I like to send a full letter, not a postcard. I believe we provide a template for you. I can provide it somewhere. I have an entire video on it. And it's just a formal letter. And we just address that we know the property's in probate. Excuse me. And, we just let them know we're a cash buyer looking to buy more properties like that. Please reach out to us if you would like to talk about this further. And by the way, I drop a little subtle hint on there on how I can get them through the probate, how to get their house out of probate very quickly. Let's chat. So you have to have an intriguing fact in your marketing piece. So I always enjoy, I like letters because typically it gives people time and then they're going to call you back on their time scale. So, and I don't stop. About every 30 days, I keep mailing it. Now, I don't get hundreds of phone calls. I only get a few phone calls a month with it, but man, when we get them, they are dynamite. Number two is, what was the question? The best marketing. I've stepped up since then and I have to change with the times. And I give my son, Zach, credit to this. We decided we were going to cold call on probates and we relabeled it and called it warm calls. So you can't be nasty when you call people on probates and they get upset with you. You actually have to expect it. So, yes, we're not going to call a cold call. We're calling a warm call and we're going to kill them with kindness. And they're going to ask you where you got their information from and just say, listen, I noticed this property might be up for sale. And just want to know if you were interested in selling it to it. And just a very open conversation. That works. I said in the beginning, I would never do that. And I'm still true to this day. I don't do it. I hire somebody to do it on my team. Now, when we do it, we just use our own phones. We don't use Mojo or any of those like fancy callers. And we just rip through and we make a personal call and we leave it at that. We leave a message. You can follow up with a text. That's a little iffy on that one. So I love probates. Guys, it's the cost of probating. I spend less than $1,000, like $1,500 a year is marketing to my probates. It's such a minor part of my budget, but it is the biggest. I mean, the biggest deals we ever do are through probate. So I've had deals in the 6-figure range just from a probate deal. So it's worth it. I can go 3 or 4 months without a deal. I do not panic. I just consistently keep doing it because you know why? The 10 other people in my market do it. They always give up. And then 10 more come replace them. It's the same thing over and over. So good question, Kevin. Awesome. Let's see here. Okay. I gotta pick up here. So Isaiah asks, how does probate work? Can I pull the list from PropStream? No. So you have to go to the courthouse or you can use a third-party service I find if you can get the leads direct, it's much, much faster and it's much better in getting a deal. What's the most you've made on a probate deal? I just figured it. It's a 6 figures. I get people that just don't want properties. I know it sounds like the forbidden fruit, but I'm telling you, it happens. The main thing is, guys, understanding I've only done probates for now 8 years. So I didn't start it in 2003 because I didn't know, I didn't understand it. What I did is when I was sitting down with my accountant, he pulled out 4 deals on my HUDs when we were doing my taxes. He says, whatever you did on these 4 deals, you need to duplicate it. You need to find out. So I quickly put 2 and 2 together. They were probate deals. And then that's when I decided I was going to do a targeted marketing. I had no idea how to do it. You know what I did? I went down to the courthouse. I spent 2 hours and I got a crash course education on probate, how probate works. So probate's simply the process when a person passes away. It allows them to fulfill their last will and testament. If there's not a last will and testament, the courts have a say in hearing from the family on how it's going to proceed. The point is, if somebody passes away with real estate and how probate works, which is all we really care about to a point, is when a person passes away, they cannot transfer that deed. So the only way it can transfer is through a court order. So depending on your state and your local laws, is usually what they do is appoint a PR, a personal representative, or an executor. That's usually spelled out in the will. So usually, so if grandma were to pass away, she appoints typically a daughter or a sibling, somebody they trust, or like a brother or sister, to make sure that the will is followed through and the court follows through, and it's a process. So how long does it take should be your better question. If you do this right, you can get it done in 60 days. If you have no idea what you're doing and you don't educate yourself on it, it can take you years. So probates work. There's plenty of information out there. I know I don't sell anything on here, but just to let you know, I do offer a course. It's really, really cheap. And you can look it up on your own. I'm not going to promote it on here, or Zach will kick me out of my own site. So good question, Isaiah. Christopher, he says 95% of students fail. And you know what? Let's be fair about this. A lot of times the failure is people blame the gurus or the coaches. I'm here to tell you, a lot of times it's the student that fails themselves. Here's what I found is when you pay somebody for a type of mentorship or coaching, you get this tremendous relief if you get over the hump. So if you pay someone $5,000 or $10,000, which apparently is the going rate, I don't know. Sometimes I question why I do everything for free, but I told you why I do it. And it winds up that you go, oh, I paid it. So now I know wholesaling. And sometimes it switches over to like an entitlement. Like, you got to be nice to me. I'm going to be honest with you. The work has just begun when you paid. You have to follow through. 95% of the failure rate because people don't follow the program. They try to filter it. They try to make it like fit their lifestyle on their own. And the reality is their lifestyle has not got them where they wanted. And that was the point of the whole coaching program. And they won't even change for the coach. So it's kind of twofold. Now, there are bad coaches out there, there's good ones. If you're looking to hire someone, what I would do is find out if they're in the wholesale business, real estate investing business full time. I like people who are in the business full time because they're ears to the ground and every minute they're finding out what works in today's market. If they don't have a business that's running, it either wasn't successful or they're so focused on coaching that they've got to get current information third hand, which means it'll be months before they tell you when something's changed in the market. So excellent comment. Steve asks, sorry, just got on. It's being recorded. Yes, this is our mini St. Patty's Day marathon. Sorry, I don't have a green shirt. I'm not much of a green guy, but go drink a green beer today. And the recording will be posted on the Flip with Rick site on it. So you can still ask questions, man. So guys, I'm going to keep going until I run out of questions. When I run out of questions, I'm going to end it. So guys, this is live. You can answer questions. You can ask questions virtually, and I'm not charging you a dime. Christopher asked, can you do probates virtually? Absolutely. Is it more of a challenge? Yes, because if you're virtual, if you can't get the probates online, you would have to pay someone to go pull them. So keep that in mind when you do it. But yes, you can. All right, Kelly. She asked, can you close the buyer before the seller, or does it need to be at the same time? Can you close the buyer before the seller? So the question is, like on a closing day, if I have, let's use a simple wholesale deal. I have a deal I'm going to assign, um, which is going to be your new buyer, and you're just a middleman. Say you're collecting a $20,000 fee. Can they close before? They can go in like the day before or like that morning. It usually has to happen within 24 hours, or you're going to have to fund the transaction. So, but if you're doing an assignment, it doesn't really matter because it's one seamless transaction. That's the beauty of an assignment. If you buy a property, say you fix it up and put it back on the market, or you don't fix it up, you have two sets of a closing, an A to B and a B to C. So in simplicity, if you're doing a wholesale deal and you're doing an assignment, there's only one closing and there's one set date, and it's no big deal. And if you're just getting started, that's how I recommend you do it. If you have to buy and close on the property and then resell it, the idea is one of the transactions has to take place within a 24-hour period. So hopefully that answers your question, Kelly. Edward says, aloha snack bar. I guess he's at the snack bar. The guy's just like, don't spend all night at the bar drinking green beer. It's not going to help your wholesaling business. It'll help temporarily, but okay, Kelly's got another question. If you and the seller want to change the date of the closing, do you need to sign a new purchase agreement or an addendum? An addendum's the easiest way. The problem is if you bring out like your original contract and you sit down with them, you've opened the door to renegotiate the whole thing. So an addendum is a perfect tool. An addendum can be just a simple piece of paper, which has, you call it addendum A, and you put the seller and the buyer's name on there and the property address and the date of the contract, and that qualifies as an addendum. I'm not a realtor, but I like addendums because it only addresses one item. So if you need like a 1-week extension or a 2-week extension, the addendum is perfect for you. So that's a good question, Kelly. Thank you. Mario asks, how do you find inventories levels? Really simple. I don't do screen shares because, to be honest with you, I'm not like a real tech guy. So Zach does that part. So what you want to do is find your local board of realtors in your area. So like I'm down here in South Florida. So we have the West Palm Beach board of realtors. We have the greater Fort Lauderdale area of realtors. And what they do is they have a publication of their reports and their findings. Now, it's free. You can get it. Sometimes you got to search a little bit, but I can pretty much find any. So find out what the name of your local realtors association is. If you're really struggling with it, just meet with a realtor and they'll give it to you. And then they'll usually give you the link to the website, and it'll give you average median price, inventory levels, average days on market, which is huge, guys. That's another one you want to track. Days on market means the time they put it on the market to the time the property closes or goes under contract, depending on which one you track on it. But great data to track. Here's the caveat with it, Mario. I want you to understand it's typically 3 months behind, and in some markets it's 6 months behind. So what I like to do is you can compare it. So a lot of people go, hey, Rick, hey, Zach, how does this compare back to 2007 and 8? Well, the beauty is you can take this data and you can start comparing it apples to apples and see if you notice any trends. And that's the beauty of data. So good question, Mario. Okay. Let's see here. I said I'd go till 6, but I'll go until I have questions. Okay. I got lots of questions there. Cool. Awesome. Chris asks, what are the top less competitive virtual markets? It's the one you pick. So it's most people go in the virtual markets of a city they used to live in, they grew up in, or they have family that lives there. And I would start working with there. If you're looking for completely less markets, just stay away from like major metropolitan areas. I like areas that are on the borderline. So for instance, If I was targeting Tampa, I would look around like Lakeland, Bartow, some outlying city areas, because the reality is those markets usually get so unaffordable that people start to sprawl out into neighboring neighborhoods and they get a better deal. So that's an easy way to do it. Good question. Whichever one you pick. Marlon asked, have you had any experience with vacant land? What is your take on it? Is it a good niche? I love vacant land. So I have a video. I'm not sure if I released it yet or not, is I do quite a bit of vacant land. And here's the beauty of vacant land. It requires very little money. There's no tenants involved. You don't have to price out rehab, construction, or anything like that. It really just comes down, is the land clear and does somebody want to sell it? So I love vacant land. It's very, very simple. So what I would do is start in your local market. You can use PropStream and you can search just vacant lands. You can look for vacant land cash buyers, and you can quickly price out the market and go ahead, target those people. Whatever marketing medium you pick, SMS, cold call, RVM, make sure it's legal in your state, direct mail, it works. And what I like about land, it's very fast. There's no appraisals. It goes quick. And the closings are very, very, very simple. So I love it. I love to buy vacant land. God ain't making any more of it, so take advantage of it. It's a great way to get started in the business too. So awesome. Good question. What's up, AJ? AJ asks, how do you structure or organize your list when wholesaling? How do you structure, organize your list? So my first thing I would use is use the tools that are readily available to you. So if you guys use listrei.com, which gives you the free trial version through PropStream, you can actually organize your campaigns and your lists in there. And that works fine, but you'll find it will get full fast. What I recommend is make sure you have at least a basic CRM. There's actually free ones out there. I don't really check them out, but you can use Podio. There's a simple free version. You can use that. It's somewhat limited. I think it's $14 to get like all the user features on it. Very manageable. Cost you 2 or 3 cups of coffee. I would do that. And what I recommend is manage your list outside your CRM. And then once you engage a prospect, then you put them in your CRM. If you do it the other way, you're going to overload your CRM and you're going to be lost on how to do follow-up. So keep them completely separate. So I like using PropStream to manage your list. I use a lot of Excel spreadsheets. I like Google Sheets because you can share them with anybody you work with your team. And you don't have to keep saving and resending it on attachment. So like the Google spreadsheets is dynamite. PropStream is dynamite. They're all, just don't put them in your CRM till you got somebody who's willing to talk to you and work with it. Great question. Actually, I haven't heard that question in a while. What book do you recommend to anyone for whatever type of value it has given you? So I think books are, I think they're dynamite. And when I was younger, I fought books for a long time. And there's one book in particular that pretty much changed the course of my life and is why I'm sitting in front of you right now. And it's the old Tony Robbins book. It's called Unleash the Power Within. It's literally this thick. I picked it up at a garage sale because I think I picked it up when I was in 19 or 20 years old. And I kept reading it. I couldn't believe how far I got into the book. I passed, college and high school and stuff. I only read a book when I was forced to, but something just stuck out with him. And this is before any of the videos and stuff like that. And it was a master plan for your life. And it just basically asked you, why are you accepting what's giving to you? What's stopping you? And it just asked such hard questions. I believe it's about 550, 600 pages. And I just couldn't put the damn thing down. Now, it took me a long time to accept the principles, but I had to go through my own process. I was not set up initially to do what I do because I cared so much what people thought about me. So I hands down, Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within. And listen, this is not just about real estate, guys. This is about just becoming a better person, becoming the better version of you. every day you should try to find a newer version of you that's better. So your family benefits, your bank account benefits, spiritually you benefit, physically you benefit, and just enjoy life. I mean, you guys, we're so busy looking in our past and trying to stare towards the future. We don't take what's in front of us, which is the present, which is a gift from God. And we are here today and you need to enjoy it. So that book, like honestly, read that book first. And after that, what I'll do is I'll post on this Facebook, on the Facebook page. I'll give a cheat sheet list. And I want Zach to have input because he reads lots of books. I love any book that will help, like, just push you outside your comfort zone. So if you're not used to reading books, stuff like that, I would find a book that will kick you in the ass and get you going. Another book I really like, and some people disagree with me, I don't care, is I love David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. If you ever think you have life tough, read that book. It will inspire you to do great things. So how do you do comps on vacant land? Here's the really cool part, Nyquin. Exact same way you do property. It's actually easier. So it's just land. You see what people are paying for the land, and you do your comps based on what cash buyers pay for land in that area. It's actually super, super simple. So you do have to get a feel. You got to look at 10 or 15 similar types of land in that particular area. The few things that screw up land is there utilities or not? I'm not an expert on that. But if there's utilities there, it's usually worth more. And does the land need like full out clearing? And sometimes environmental issues, but location is the key part of land. So if you're in the same zip code in the same block and they're selling for this, odds are if it's a quarter acre, it's going to sell for that. So compare it apples to apples. If it's quarter acre, I've seen them as low as an eighth of an acre, quarter acre, half acre, full acre, and then full on acreage. So hopefully that helps you out with that. Good question. Okay, guys, like 10 minutes. I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Somebody else asked a question. Nicholas Best. That's a pretty cool. If that's your last name, that's awesome. So great question. How do you wholesale a sub 2 deal? You got a lot of layers in that question. So I would love to walk through on an actual wholesale deal on a sub 2 deal. But guys, for those of you kind of want to know more about, now I know how to do this, but I'm trying to explain this responsibly to you and not try to talk above anyone's head. So a sub 2 deal is simply when the seller agrees for you to take over their mortgage. Why would they do this? Most of the time, sub 2 deals is because you're the only buyer for it and they've accepted this is the only way to sell the property. Typically, there's a lot lower equity into it. So that being said, if you take something over sub 2, which by the way, probate is the absolute number one way to do this, hands down. I do these things on a monthly basis. Why? Because when a deceased person has a mortgage, the new people, the heirs don't want to take it over, and they don't care as long as they get their stake in it, because there's no risk to them in you taking over the mortgage. So if there's equity in the deal and you're selling it with sub 2 financing, you have created virtual financing for the new buyer. So you have a choice. You can either sell it to an end user and do what we call a complete wraparound mortgage. I'm not going to go into all the details into this because this would take me some while to explain it. Or you can sell it to another investor and you leverage the subject to financing to get a higher price from him. And then you save him the money from like going and getting hard money. It's a huge win. So, you can absolutely do it. You just got to make sure there's some sort of equity play in the property. The real question, Nicholas, is do you plan on taking it to the end user, which sometimes is a little bit more challenging, or is it a property that needs some sort of rehab and you want to sell it to an investor? You can actually wind up kind of being the sub hard money guy, and you can make a lot of money doing this strategy. So, Nicholas, stay in tune with us. I don't really do a sub 2 course. I do a lot of sub 2 deals. There's a lot of responsibility to make sure you do them correctly. So I'm sorry if I'm so vague about it. So, Danny asks, how do you wholesale to a conventional buyer? It's simple. You don't. Like it just, the bank's never going to allow it. So when I started in 2003, my first deal, I got an assignment contract on an exact deal like this. And they told me I did 3 or 4 after that. And after that, the bank says no assignment fees. So right now, a conventional buyer will not allow for an assignment on a HUD. So banks try to strong arm everybody. They're out for their own financial interest and they don't trust anyone who does an assignment. So you cannot do it that way. You really need a cash buyer, or you need to fund the deal and then put it back on the market, which we also call the wholesale, which works. So Danny, what I would do is, if you have to do it that way, I would find someone to either fund it for you or get a funding partner. And if the spread's there, then make it happen. Like don't let the big banks push you around. They're a pain in the butt. So hope that answers your question. So guys, get your questions in. I'm going to take questions for 5 more minutes. And if it's marked by 6, I will answer it, I promise. So good question. So Mario asked, have you ever tried targeting the whole state with PPC? That sounds like a suicide approach to me. So PPC stands for paid per click. So it's online marketing. Basically an online solicitation. You're going to use Google, YouTube, technically use Facebook. It goes on and on. The problem with is each city gets bidded up on the keyword search. So like sell your home fast is probably the most popular. Like in my local city, it's $100 a pops every time somebody clicks that. So if I did it the entire state, I would have to plan for about $150,000 budget. It's expensive. I don't do pay-per-click, guys. It's just, it works. Don't get me wrong, but there's a huge learning curve. So if you were interested in pay-per-click and you understand that part of it, it's very time intensive. You have to analyze stats and you have to keep on it because you're spending money every time somebody clicks it. And then you still have to convert the leads. And the speed for pay-per-click is insane. So if I was here in Miami and I got a deal in Orlando, it takes time to get that deal done. So I would never do the entire state. I would focus on a market that you're targeting, hopefully your local market, and honestly, pay-per-click. If you have a computer whiz, somebody that's very good with it, you like bring them in as a partnership on it, because the fees, I've paid $5,000 fees for people to oversee these accounts. And they always tell me, you need another month. We need another month. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's very expensive. Pay-per-click is not for the beginner, not even close. So you can smoke through $5,000 in a day. So yes, you can set parameters on it, but the reality is you have to understand that, which really has nothing to do with real estate. So I would find a business partner to help me out with that, and just cut them in on the deal. And you still got to pay. Still, the advertising costs you, $3,000 to $5,000 a month just on an average campaign. So, good question, Mario. Okay, we're getting all the questions in here. Let's see. Anthony asks, "What's the business model?" Ideas of business, it's just your approach to doing your business. Like either you're going to model somebody else or you're going to kind of do it your own way. My suggestion is always to model somebody else that's more successful than you. Too many people on this feed right now, stuff like that, is stop taking other people's opinions. And if you don't want to be in their shoes, don't take their opinion. Only take advice from people that are more successful than you and people you want to be like. If a guy's a complete jerk and he's teaching you wholesaling, don't take his advice, because I don't want you to be like him. It's that simple. So a business model is just something you're modeling to usually achieve somebody else's same success. So awesome. Anthony asks, put the list of books together. I will. I have a very large library. I love audios and I love podcasts. So I think podcasts are dynamite. By the way, you guys can exercise, you can kill time in your car ride, whatever. Podcasts are dynamite, gives you more update information, really cool stuff. By the way, Tony Robbins got a podcast too. It's great. Ray says, check out Morby for sub 2. Pace Morby, a good friend of mine. Zach spends a lot of time with him. Dynamite guy. I've yet to meet anyone that doesn't like Pace and the entire like Phoenix crew. So good call, Ray. Love it. And by the way, I believe Zach has a podcast with Pace, and he picks his brain about sub two. So go back and refer to the Pace Morby Bags to Riches podcast. So let's see here. Marlon asks, what makes a big market like Miami, Tampa, Dallas, et cetera, so competitive and harder to begin wholesaling as opposed to a surrounding city? Simple. There's more eyes gravitated toward it. It has more competition. So if you can find the next up and coming city around it, like, let me give you an example. I grew up in South Florida. Miami was everything. In 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit. Now I'm really showing my age here. Broward wasn't much. Like, it was downtown Fort Lauderdale. That's it. I look back now, Broward's huge. So what happened is people decided they didn't want to put up with the traffic and the increasing prices on Miami, and they migrated. So let's fast forward like 20 years. Broward's huge now. Palm Beach is huge. The area where I'm in and like Stuart, it's getting big. When I first started here, you could buy a waterfront property for $100,000. So if you can get ahead of the curve, a lot of times you can put your roots in and really define a market before it's even hit. It's like buying a stock before people discover it. Now, I'm not big on timing stuff, but a lot of I have a town I invest in. Everybody in the country thinks it's gold. It's hammered because every guru said, hey, go to this town. You're going to make a killing. You know what? They all come and they all quit in 3 months. You know why? Because I buy all the properties around here. Yes, I have competition. I don't care. But the reality is I was doing this business 18 years ago when there was nobody here. So I'm already looking at other markets and actively investing in them because, let's face it, prices get to a point, it's not nearly as attractive. So if you're wholesaling, you got to have price points which cash buyers are looking to buy. And if you're doing it in like Miami or Dallas, sometimes, can you take down a $300,000 or $400,000 average deal? California, that's a big way it's done. So when I say surrounding areas, it's just, you can still do those major metropolitan areas, but I'm constantly exploring areas where people are going to migrate to. And yes, Marlon, I am guessing a little bit, but it's kind of common sense. Miami to me was a common sense that it was going to sprawl all the way up to Orlando. And by the way, there's still pockets that you can find. Everybody used to invest on the East Coast of Florida. Now the West Coast is really hot. Who would have known? So good question. Hope that helps you out with it. Okay, guys, I am going to take the last few questions here. I promised I'd answer every one of them, so I'm going to do it. Ray asked, would transactional funding work on a double close to sell to an end buyer? Absolutely, but remember, transactional funding is usually a day, and you can get as many as 7 days out of them, and it works just fine. The key here is set up your relationship before the deal comes up. It's much easier. So if you haven't done transactional funding before, do your research, fill out the applications, and get to know your transactional funder. And they do appreciate it when you do it that way, and it'll make a smoother transition. So good question. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. Okay, wow, that's a lot of questions. Okay. Okay. So Tamika has a very, very common question here, and bias. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. So great question. What is the best response for someone that wants more than what their property is worth? Honestly, I just kill them with kindness. Like, if you can't pay more than 80 grand for the property and they ask for like 200, I am not a magician. I cannot close that kind of gap. I'm not going to waste my time. But Tamika, I'm going to give you the value line ad of the day. And it's some people think it's sarcastic. A lot of times is I will sit there and just ask a rhetorical question. Seller, how did you come up with that price? And just listen. Most of the time, sellers like these, they'll tell you why they need the money. It has actually nothing to do with the house. They'll tell you they need $100,000 to buy this other house, or they need $100,000 to retire, or I need to bail my sister out of jail, and I need to send $50,000 over to my brother to help him out. And I simply, once I know there's a separation from the asset, which is the house, I simply state, and by the way, I didn't come up with this, I got it from a good friend of mine, is, dear seller, I tell you what, let's see what the house can afford. And it really makes them go, you're basically telling them, I can't pay you more than the value of the asset. And it's simple as that. So Tamika, here's how you're going to respond to them. You're simply like, how did you come up with that price? Either going to tell your realtor, or a lot of them will tell you, hey, I need XYZ money so I can retire. And go, listen, Mr. Seller, I would love to buy your house, but let's take a step back and see what the house can afford. It's a kind way of saying, like, are you out of your mind? I can only pay you what it's worth. And then you walk through the property like you normally do. So awesome question. Cool. I'll ask, can you wholesale fire damage properties? Absolutely. They are not my specialty. Have I sold them? Yes. Now, you have to sell them for cash. And they typically, people that buy fire burnt properties, fire damaged properties, they're used to it. So they're typically contractors or people that have a lot of experience. Now, the good thing is you usually get a very good deal on them because very few people want to buy it. And number two, I sell it to a buyer that's equipped and has experience buying those. So just ask, when you market your property for a fire damaged property, try to find somebody who has experience doing it. Because listen, I don't want you to navigate. And the whole point of being a wholesaler is you are specialized in your sales training and your marketing. You can't go down like, what's a fire code and stuff like that. Leave that to the experts and let them do it. Good question. So, okay, let's see here. Steve asks, how do you find what buyers are paying for properties 65, 70, 75, 80% in a given market? Here's the really cool part, Steve. They'll tell you what they're paying for the property. So you can do all these complicated spreadsheets till you're blue in the face. The bottom line is, a lot of people like, okay, buy it at 70 cents on the dollar and sell it for 80, 85 cents on the dollar. Do what your market will dictate to you. You can use Zillow even as a guide. It's that simple. Pull MLS data. If you have a friend that's a realtor, can help you access that information, and you'll get a good idea of what a 322 selling for in your neighborhood. You just got to minus off how much you expect to earn on it and what the repairs are on it, and just do your math backwards. There is no magic formula of what people will pay for it. In a hot market right now, people will pay up to 105% of the value. It makes no sense to me. In a cold market, they'll pay 80 cents on the dollar. So I want you to maximize what you're receiving on that deal. You worked hard to get it. You owe it to yourself to get the best offer with the least amount of crap that comes with it. So hopefully that helps you out. Kind of getting to the point here, aren't I? Christopher asks, who do you recommend for skip tracing? I let kind of Zach run those departments because he handles all that in our business. I believe we used Batch, but I'll put a link. I'll have Zach put a link somewhere in the comments on this and give you an accurate information. But guys, there's a million companies when doing that. Ray says, Stephen, try asking other wholesalers in the market. Absolutely. He's correct on that. Yeah. And that's the part of networking. Go to your local RIAs. Like, you will get you will find the pulse of your market. And guys, you owe it to yourself to get the best deal possible, but you got to be fair and ethical about it. When you guys buy stuff and you say, I love when a wholesaler tells me, oh, it needs 15 grand of rehab. I just double the number. Whatever they tell me it is, I know they're lying to me. So, right, that's a good point. I love this stuff. Okay, we're down to the last few ones here. Edward says, wish I had some good questions, but I'm new to this stuff. I'm a carpenter looking to get into flipping. Appreciate your time. So you're in the right place, Edward. Just go through the videos. I believe we post daily right now. I think we are the only wholesale group that posts daily. And by the way, we don't have a product to sell you. So we are so successful in wholesaling. I want to teach you how to do this for free. Edward, go get your first deal or two. Use the Flip with Rick YouTube site. Use our Facebook group. It's a great community. No one's going to sit there and promote all day to you. And that's the biggest problem. Gurus just, God, I love them to death, but I hate them in the same sentence. Does that make sense? Because they're constantly promoting. It's like, I can't tell if they're actually giving me information or they're selling me. So right here, guy, I taught my son at 17 to do it. And you have trade skills, which is going to be hugely beneficial on your flips. So take advantage of it. Do not, I mean, it's up to you. You can pay for what you want, but it's all about value at the end of the day. So Luke asks, best producing lead source for calling and texting. Best lead source for calling and texting. I like to use listrei.com, which is basically the free trial to PropStream. I will always go with the vacant properties and the high equity. I love them. And then your offline ones are going to be code violations, probates, tax delinquency. So we're in the speed round now. Good question, Luke. What's my favorite podcast? Ray asks, what's my favorite podcast to listen to? To be honest with you, I listen to so many. It's bad. Like, I have an addiction to podcasts. I love anyone that has a higher calling that's going to make me better. So I want anyone that's going to push me outside my comfort zone. Anything from fitness to health to finances. Guys, that would be an entire other list. So what I will do is, Ray, is I'll put a link with the book stuff, and I'll work on it with Zach. And I'd love to pick your guys' brain too, because I'm always open to sources. Guys, you got to constantly be learning. If you're not learning, you're dying. It's just you should learn till the day you die. It doesn't matter if it's in business, finances, your personal relationships. Strive to be the better version of yourself. That's how I raise Zach. And I expect Zach, if he decides to have kids, to have a better version of him. And that's how we pass it down. So I'm hoping that our social media presence helps everybody else out. So, okay. Okay, we got last 4 or 5. I'm just going to blast through this. I'm way over time. Zach's going to kill me. So, guys, let Zach know I did a good job, and maybe he'll have me back on. How do you determine if a market is good for virtual wholesaling? I answered this early. It's whatever market you pick and you're confident in. So you can go back and hear the recording on that. Luke said St. Louis, super competitive market. Hey, welcome to the wholesaling world. So let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Got lots of questions going on here. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pick questions we haven't answered before, and I will keep them going. So, here's a good one. Okay. What's your view on Zillow's new plan? So if you guys haven't figured it out, Zillow is doing like iBuyers, where they're allowing people to get an instant cash offer. So if you go on the Zillow site and you put in your property and it pops up, they'll actually give you an offer. Now, Zillow is legit. I'm going to tell you, they actually do this. It kind of shocked me, but Zillow has admitted they're losing money doing this. They have spent hundreds of millions of dollars creating an incredible brand. And actually, I'm in awe. So they use realtors to build this site up. And now I think they're kind of crapping on realtors by doing this strategy. They're competing with realtors. What they're doing, so you understand when they do this, is they're just charging a commission. So the commission is variable, somewhere between 5 and 7%. And they usually offer a 1% discount. So that's 8%. So when I explain it to my acquisitions people, is Zillow is just trying to make a commission. They sell, when they do those deals, I don't know how they fund it because they haven't really explained that. They do take a lot of time to get them done, 30 to 45 days, which most of our sellers want it done now. And then there's a lot of contingencies, but then they give that listing to their premier realtors that pay a huge sum. A lot of these realtors spend anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 a month marketing on Zillow. The realtors are really getting pissed. I think Realtor.com is going to try to make a run for the money on Zillow, but it's real. You need to know about it. But so you guys can understand, most of Zillow is they want their property bought now. They want the problem solved, and they don't want any inspections or contingencies. Zillow doesn't really solve that. They're there to make the spread. and sell leads back to, and what they do is the ones that don't work out, they sell those leads back to their realtors. It's actually a really cool business model. I got to give them to them. It's smart. So it's real, it's here, and you guys need to see how it works in your market. So awesome, Marlon. Thanks for taking the time clearing that up. It's very insightful. Awesome. Vardell asked, Coral Springs, by the way, I lived in Coral Springs, a big part of my life. It's a good market, but it ain't cheap there by far. So if you live there, it's a good place to start. So as I said, guys, the market you pick is the most important part. It's all about your confidence level. If you don't think it's going to work, I guarantee you it won't work. So Ardell, what I do is dive into the data, go into listrei.com and see what the average price points are, see what properties are selling, and pull your local realtors report on that. So, okay, let's see here. A lot of duplicate questions here. Let's see. I have a vacant property. Okay. Ray says, oh, I'm sorry, Glorious. I just got my first 2 contracts. One is a buy and hold. How do I find buy and hold investors? Real simple. Go into PropStream through listaria.com and pull up people that own properties free and clear in that area and look for ones that have multiple owners. They're usually very, very happy to speak to you because they can't find anything on MLS. So awesome. Says the deals in Macon, Georgia. Awesome. Ray says real estate disruptor is a favorite. I believe that's Steve Trang. So he's a good friend of ours. And Zach has a podcast with him on the Bags of Riches. Just look it up under, I believe it's Steve Trang. Correct me if I'm wrong. So guys, I'm going to, what about, I got one question left here and let's see here. Natalie asked, to join my local realtor, you have to pay. Do they normally charge? I'm in Chicago. So guys, I ran a local realtor for 7 years and I enjoyed it. I just find the internet's an easier way to connect with a lot more people across the country. I still love the virtual interaction. So if you can go to your local realtors, most of them are going to charge a membership. There is a cost to run them, and they invest a lot of time and energy into it. Just make sure you're not going to a complete sales fest, which a lot of them wind up being. But there's a lot of really good information at the RIAs. We have 3 local ones here, and I try to go to them like once a quarter. And I talk to people like me. Like I just love working with real estate investors, so it's a great fit. So the charge is anywhere from usually 100, maybe 150, as high as $200. But remember, that's 12 months out of the year. It's well worth it. Or just usually you can get like they'll allow you to attend the first one free. Make sure it's what you like, and then you can decide. And then at worst, you can pay per meeting, and it's like $20 at the door. So I think it's a great way to do it. Guys, I love local RIAs. I own and ran one for 7 years. I was very passionate about it, and I decided I could do more business and reach more people on the internet. So, guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. This is, I think we've been going just over 2 hours, and hopefully you received a lot of value for this. So if you guys need to get in touch with us, you can go on the Facebook group, Flip with Rick. You guys can find our videos on YouTube. You guys asked a lot of great questions, and just search under our YouTube. There's tons and tons of videos to teach you how to do this business. We don't charge a dime for it. I'm giving this information away because it's just like your alphabets. You didn't have to pay to learn that. This is the basics to real estate investing. Guys, get started. I love this business. I'm very passionate about it. My entire family is involved into it. You guys know Zach. You probably know him a lot better than me. And let's stay connected. So go ahead, learn the videos, ask your questions. And we do, Zach does the live events at least once, if not twice a week. And I love doing the videos and sharing my 18 years of wisdom. So guys, God bless you. I really appreciate your time. And I look forward to connecting with you all in the future. Thank you.